Well, guys, hello, 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 hello. It's been a while since I've done any footage. I think it's been about a month, or maybe a few weeks anyway. But yeah, it's just chilling on a Sunday evening after watching my team win against Crystal Palace 1-0 in should I dare to say in convincing fashion. Although it was 1-0, a word that I'm about to say is a word that I haven't been able to use in about, I'd say, 4 years. And the key word today is control. We controlled the game. 66% possession we had throughout a 90-minute period of football. I think we had about 20 shots on goal. Okay, maybe a handful of them were on target. Only a handful were on target, but the fact that we had 20, about 20 attempts on goal says a lot. I mean, from the first whistle, it was a remarkable difference from what I've been seeing for the last 3 years. Remarkable difference. But yeah, we'll come back around to that. Since I last came on, a lot has happened. Well, for one, we have a new manager. Ollie's been sacked. We've had a caretaker manager in that time. Um, a caretaker manager who had 3 games, I think it was, 3 games, um, 3 games undefeated. 3 wins and a draw. I mean, 2 wins and a draw. He had. We beat Villarreal. We drew against Chelsea. We beat Arsenal. So, and that was Michael Carrick's short short reign as a Manchester United manager. Um, what can I say about it? The most thing I can say about it was that it was just more of the same, really, with a few tweaks here and there, a few personnel changes, but it was the same formation. It was more or less the same group of players. But I think they just look more resolute. They look more defensively resolute. That was the main thing that I got from the 3 games that Carrick was in charge, and to me, it it kind of gave me the impression that the players down tools, they lost the faith in what Ollie was trying to do. Um, I think they just lost the faith and they thought, "What? Why are we trying? We don't even know what's going on. There's no clear plan, and we're not falling for this anymore. This is ridiculous." And I think the players kind of displayed that on the pitch, and it was more apparent with the last three, with Michael Carrick's 3 games in charge. It was quite apparent that that's what happened because the formation didn't change under Carrick, and for to be honest, about 90% of the team was still the same. So it just leads me to believe that they lost faith in what Ali was trying to do. But yeah, we so I think before the last time we spoke, I think after the last time we spoke, we got beat 5-0 by Liverpool, and we got beat 2-0 by Man City quite convincingly. Didn't lay a glove on them. Liverpool was just a madness. It was just a bloodbath, really. And Man City, we didn't lay a glove on them. We went out with a whimper on that one. Um, and what was the other game? Watford. Watford. There was Watford and Spurs. We beat Spurs, but Spurs were dead anyway. They were a dead team anyway. Um, Anyone could beat Spurs at that point during the season because they couldn't score goals, they couldn't keep the ball, they were terrible. So we Spurs for me, I kind of guessed that we would beat Spurs before the start of the game anyway because they didn't really offer much threat, to be honest. So Spurs was a given for me. Watford, after the international break that we came back from, Watford pammed us 4-1. Maguire got sent off in that game after knee sliding and putting his hands in his ears against Albania the game beforehand, in a gesture to silence the fans, because the fans have been giving him stick for the first time in his whole Man United career. That was his response. Scoring against Albania was meant to silence the critics. Even though you were £85 million defender, the most expensive defender in the world, let alone the Premier League, Harry Maguire thought that was the thing that was going to silence the critics by scoring against a bunch of plumbers and part-time players. They have a few players that play in league football, but no disrespect to Albania, they don't win much, shall we say. I think that's the best way to describe it. Let's say they don't win much, and any win that they do have is a historic thing. So, yeah, Harry Maguire just got more abuse for that, basically. And it kind of mirrored my sentiments in the fact that the only way you can silence the critics is by good performances. We don't expect you to score goals. Scoring goals for a defender is a plus. It's not a prerequisite, if I'm going to be perfectly honest. A prerequisite for a defender is to stop goals going in rather than scoring them. So, yeah. Less said about that, the better. Now, after Carrick, sorry, Cameron went a bit funny there. Now, it was brought to our attention, I think about a week ago, that we managed to capture the services of a certain Mr. Ralf Rangnick, shall we say, who is the best way to describe him is the professor of football. He knows his shit, basically. He's the headmaster, if you get what I'm saying. Managers like Thomas Tuchel at Chelsea, Champions League winner, Klopp as well, Premier League and Champions League winner. These kind of managers, were under the tutelage of Ralf Rangnick. So, he's got a lot to answer for when it comes to these managers' pedigree, because he kind of bred these men. You get me? So, yeah, he's a big deal, our Ralf. Now, we managed to do the un-United thing over the last 8 years and actually make a competent footballing decision by hiring this guy, and it really alarmed me that they managed to get him, if I'm going to be perfectly honest, because I'm not saying that it alarmed me that they were able to do it, because Manchester United is a big club. It's one of the biggest clubs in the world, and why wouldn't somebody like Ralf Rangnick want to come to a club with the stature of Manchester United? But I was more shocked with the fact that the club even went and made that decision to hire Ralf Rangnick, to be honest, because it's a footballing decision. And if the last 8 years of Ed Woodward's chief executive reign has told us, is that he doesn't make good footballing decisions. It's all about marketing. It's all about how much money that a player can make. It's the marketability. That's what he's known for. That's what he's good at. He's a money man. He's not a footballing man. But the main thing that I took from the fact that we've hired Ralf Rangnick is the fact that the deal that is structured was a 2.5 year deal. Now, he's coming as interim manager until the end of the season. Now he's currently the Manchester United manager, but after that period, he's he's going to be moving in a more in a consultant role. You know, consultant. I don't know what that entails, but to me, that says that he has more input on the way the footballing structure looks going forward, and that excites me more than him actually being a manager because you know Ralph Rangnick is known for projects such as you know the Red Bull project, you know Red Bull Salzburg and Red Bull Leipzig, RB Leipzig. Now these clubs have only just been built in the last sort of 10, 15, 20 years, and they're really successful projects and they're doing really good things in world football right now. And it's down to Ralph Rangnick. He orchestrated it, he set it up, he built it from, you know, the ground up, you know, and that's the kind of manager and that's the kind of person who we should be getting in Manchester United Football Club. We should be looking for the best in class. We should be looking for the you know the creme de la creme. You get me? So that's the kind of you know that's the kind of personnel that Manchester United should be bringing into the football club to make footballing decisions. And it looks like we've done it this time. And ironically, um, I've been hearing that the decision wasn't made by Ed Woodward at all. He had no involvement because he's resigning. No, because he resigned after the whole Super League debacle. Um, I think he's leaving at the end of the year or the end of the financial year. One of the two. I don't know, but he's leaving, and it makes me believe that he didn't make this decision to one sack Ollie and two to bring in Ralph Rangnick. Now there's been rumours saying that John Murtough was responsible, and he's the current footballing director at Manchester United. And I've been hearing that he was responsible for bringing Ralph Rangnick in. Now I can believe that more than Ed Woodward making that decision because he's had 8 years to make that decision and he didn't make it. So that leads me to believe that someone else was involved in bringing a footballing man into the football club because it appears to me that John Murtough is actually a football person. He's probably a fan of the club and he wants to see the fans happy and he wants to see the club do well again. So he's made the right decision to bring in someone who knows what the fuck they're talking about. You get what I'm saying? So big up to John. At the end of the day, big up to Johnny. Big up to Johnny Boy. At the end of the day, it's taken this long for it to happen, but I'm glad it's happened. And the fact that after Ranick's interim manager stint, that is the fact that he's going to be involved in he's going to be advising the club on where to go, and we're going to keep his contacts and excuse me, and what contacts he has in world football. It makes me happy to know that he's going to be, forming the football structure going forward. Now, let's move on to the game today. Now, the game today was, like I was saying before, the game today was, I thought, some of the better football that we've played in a long time, in my opinion. I thought that the tempo was good, the way we suffocated the opposition, the way we suffocated Crystal Palace was quite good. We didn't give them any time on the ball whatsoever, and we made them make mistakes, which is something that we haven't been doing. We kind of sit off and try and soak up pressure and try and hit teams on the break. And for me, that's not Manchester United Football Club at all. It's really not. and what I saw today for the first half an hour um, gives me further reason, and further conviction in my thoughts about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. To be honest, after this guy has had one training session, yeah, with this team. He's had one training session. Man came in on a Friday. He came in Friday, had his first press conference at 9 o'clock on Friday morning. Saturday, no, actually, so 3 p.m. Sorry, 3 p.m. on the same day. He had the players in a training session for about an hour and a half. Had a rest yesterday. Probably spoke about tactics and what to do, and probably that was the conversations that were going on in the training session because coming up to the Christmas period, there's so many games. There's so many games during the Christmas period. It's a massive fixture pile up, so he's got no real time to do any hardcore training on fitness and things of this nature. He has to keep it light. But from what I saw in that first half an hour against Crystal Palace, is that he's changed the players' mentality. He's changed the mentality of the team. None of this sitting back, looking ponderous, and not having a clue of what we're doing on the football pitch, and leaving the players out there to just figure it out for themselves, and work it out. He's given them clear instructions on what to do. When we have the ball, we do this. When we don't have the ball, we do that. And that was very clear. The formation was very clear. I could see what he was trying to do. He played with a 4-2-2. He played with a 4-2-2-2, which it's kind of a continental. That's his way of playing. I've seen him use it before with other teams that he's managed, and it seemed to work well for us. And it was very obvious that's what he was doing, because when the team came out on the Man United app, when I seen the team, it looked like the same formation as before. And when you looked on BBC website, it looked as the same as what Ole and Mourinho had used with the 4-2-3-1. That's how they put it out. But then when they started playing, and when I saw what I saw, it was very clear that it was the 4-2-2-2 that we all anticipated it was. It was very clear. You had McTominay and McTominay and Fred in the in the midfield to the the first midfield pairing. Then the number 10s, you had Sancho and Bruno ahead of them, and then the two strikers up top, you had Rashford and Ronaldo. And we literally bullied Crystal Palace for the first 30 minutes, and that pleased me immensely. 40 foot. He had literally 90 minutes to tell these men that that's how I want you to play, and they implemented it just like that. Now the fitness side of it, I could see that as well. I could see that being a problem. I just wanted to see what his initial plan was, and what his plan was, and what Ralph Rangnick's plan was, and that was evident within the first 5 minutes. I knew exactly what he was trying to do straight away. After the first half an hour, and we didn't score, we kind of died off a little bit. The energy went, it kind of the tempo went a little bit, which is understandable really, because it's something that we haven't been doing for the past 3-4 years. So, the intensity was there, but the sustainability of the intensity was always going to be an issue, with it being the first time that we'd actually been coached this way. So I liked it. I was excited to see it, and it makes me look forward to games going forward. It makes me look forward to the future games. We've got a good run of games now. We're not playing any of the top six. Any of the top six teams now. We've got a relatively easy run now up until March, and when we play Man City. So I'm just looking forward to watching Ralph work with these players, and I'm looking forward to seeing some of the football that I'm going to see, that's going to be shown to me in the next few games. We've got Young Boys on Wednesday, I believe. Now that's just a free hit, if I'm going to be perfectly honest, because we're already through to the Champions League knockout stages anyway, which take place in February. So it's a free game really. We qualified top of the league after what Carrick did, So shout out to Carrick for getting us to the Champions League and winning the group, to finishing off the job that Ollie started. So big up to Carrick. But this is just a free game, so I'm interested to see what team is going to pick. I imagine he's going to make some. I think he's going to make wholesale changes. He's not going to change everybody, but I think there's going to be more than 4 changes for this game, because we've had the same lineup for 2 games now. The game against Arsenal on Thursday and the game today had the same 11. So the players need a rest. It's going to be a massive demand on the players now. Going into January now, there's going to be a lot of games that are going to be played. So I think it's going to be, if my impression of Ralph is right, he's going to be smart about this, and he's going to utilize the squad, bring in players that don't normally play, and just see how they are and see how they perform. I think he's just going to use this to practice and tinker with, and because he's going to have more time with the players by Wednesday anyway. So I think he's just gonna experiment, albeit with different personnel. But I think he's going to experiment with young boys, because young boys aren't the best team. To be honest, they're probably the worst team in the group. So it's a perfect game for Ralph to experiment and see how that goes. He'll probably use Donny van der Beek, because he's not played much, so I think he'll start. Elanga will probably start. Greenwood will probably start. Players like this, Bailly will probably start. He'll probably bring Wan-Bissaka in for that game. If Shaw's fit, Shaw will play. I'm not sure what he's going to do about in the midfield, because our options are thin there. So it'll be interesting to see what he does with that. But yeah, I feel like it's going to be it's going to be an interesting game, definitely. Now, I think what I'm going to do, I'm just going to round this up by saying I'm really happy with what's going on right now. I'm really happy with the appointment. I'm really happy with how we played today. Long may it continue. I like what Ralph's doing, and I just hope that the players are buying in to what he's trying to teach, because this guy has a lot of knowledge. He comes with a lot of knowledge, a lot of experience, and a lot of know-how. You know what I mean? He's quite forthright in his style, and it's very clear what he wants to do. He wants to control games. He wants to dominate games. He wants it to be not so frantic, and he wants it to be boring, but in a good way. Boring in the fact that it's only one-way traffic. Just to suffocate teams. That's what his plan is. None of this exciting games for the neutral. He just wants it one way, and if we listen to him, we can achieve that. So, good first game from Ralph. Very clear on what's going on the pitch. There's a plan. There's a style of play. We just need to work on it. I think that's all we need to do, and I think we'll be golden. I think we'll get top 4 in the league, definitely, because the title's gone, because we've lost so many points. under Ali's, under Ali, we lost too many points in that time. So I think now it's all about getting into Champions League spot, and that's fourth place. For me, that's the only place that's up for grabs now, and that's the best way to salvage the season. Obviously, we have Champions League and the FA Cup as well, and if we do well in those as well, that'll be a bonus too. But first and foremost, we need to get that league position. We need to get that fourth spot. And I think if they buy into what Ralph's trying to do, I think we'll achieve it because the talent's there, the players are there, the ability's there. So the boys need to listen to Ralph, and Ralph will bring it home. And yeah, I think that's all I've got to say about what's happened over the last month. If you've got anything to say about what I've just said, any comments, any insight, anything to add further to what I've added to, I don't just want this to be me just talking. I want to see some interaction as well, so I can answer some questions from comments that may come in. Yeah, thanks for listening, whoever's listening. And I plan to do more content going forward. I know I had a bit of a break for the last few weeks, but I plan to film more now. I'm feeling excited about what's going on, so it's giving me the juices to make more videos, if I'm going to be perfectly honest. So it's it's good times. I'm excited, and any Man United fans out there who are not too sure, I'm letting you know now that you should be excited for what's about to happen. You should be very excited, because the days of freestyle football, the days of not knowing what Manchester United team's going to turn up from game to game, those days are done. Those days are gone now. Now you're going to know exactly what Manchester United is going to turn up, exactly how we're going to play, and exactly what results we should be getting, and exactly what teams we should be beating. And the reason why we will know, we will know what teams we're going to beat is because we're going to be consistent in how we play. And we're going to look at teams, size them up, and think, can they handle what we're about to bring? And to be honest, 75% of the teams in this league, with a well-drilled way of what Ralph's trying to do, they cannot handle. They won't be able to handle what we've got. So look forward, be excited, and Merry Christmas.